Freedom is your choice. We are Shaltazar, the Gavish Baninu, the energy of 33, the master teacher, and we have come forth at this time to share with you the wisdom that will set you free. Although you may not realize it, many of you are prisoners. Yes, although you may live in countries that tell you you are free, that is not really the case. You have become prisoners in a relatively free world. You may not be locked up behind bars. You may not be physically incarcerated. But alas, you have allowed your freedom to be taken away. How can that be? That makes no sense, we hear you say. Let us say that being a prisoner does not only refer to physical restraint, but can also refer to mental and emotional freedom being removed as well. Yes, you have become a prisoner in your own body. You may not be wearing shackles around your wrists and ankles, but let us assure you that your minds and feelings have become restrained and restricted. We remember when you took your first breath as you incarnated into this human lifetime expression. You screamed and cried out, letting the world know you had arrived. You were free, totally free, to be the purest of pure. Although your body was tiny, your heart of hearts was very big. No, you could not communicate the love that was in your heart, but all those who came in contact with you could feel it. Did you ever notice how when some people come in contact with babies, that they are so enamored? They ooh and ah, and often a smile comes to their face. That is because they feel the love that emanates from a newborn soul. They feel the purity of love, and they can't help but smile. So what happens to the freedom of that beautiful newborn baby? Life happens. Yes, slowly but surely the beautiful little baby has his or her freedom taken away. When that beautiful baby first comes forth into human form, she is not constrained by rules and regulations. He does not have any shoulds or have-tos. No, she lives in pure freedom, doing what she wants whenever she wants to. No restrictions, no limitations, but often that freedom wreaks havoc with the parents and siblings, crying out in the middle of the night, disturbing the sleep of the rest of the family. And so begins the training of how the baby should behave. Have you ever taken time to reflect on the shoulds and have-tos in your life? Have you thought about and contemplated the rules and regulations that you live by? Or do you merely accept them as part of life? Unfortunately, as you grew up and were taught to obey the rules, living by the restrictions placed upon you by others without knowing it, you were slowly losing your freedom. Why are so many rules and regulations necessary on your planet? Have you ever thought about that? Do you think it's because as human beings you can't be trusted? Or do you think it is because others want to have power over you? You have been taught that others know better what is in your highest good. You have been taught that rules are there to protect you. But is that the truth? You were taught that you can't be trusted to make the right or best choices for yourself. The newborn could be trusted because she didn't know any better. But as you matured and grew up, your inner knowing was replaced by the rules of others. You could not be trusted to have total freedom. You needed to fit within the socially accepted norms of the society you lived in. And slowly but surely, you lost your freedom. And what do you think happens when something as beautiful and pure as freedom is taken away from you? Often you rebel, you fight back. And many of you have noticed that your teenage years were somewhat difficult and challenging. That may have been because those were the years you really wanted to exert your own personal freedom. But that freedom often challenged the authority of those who had more power than you, and the struggle of your teenage years began. The struggle to keep your freedom, your independence. Those were the turbulent times. Some of you agreed to give up your freedom and obey the rules set out by your parents and the institutions you participated in. Others defied the rules and opted out of the institutions. For those who gave in to the rules, they allowed themselves to give up their freedom so they could live in relative peace and harmony. Those that resisted and insisted on keeping their freedom were often ostracized and labeled as deviants. The fight to retain their freedom hardened their hearts and often made them feel like they didn't fit in or were unloved. And although they thought they retained their freedom, their purity of heart was taken from them. Over the ages, the struggle for freedom on your planet has always been a fight. And unfortunately, even if someone feels they have been successful in winning the fight for their freedom, in the end, they have lost the pureness that freedom truly is. Their adult freedom is nowhere close to the baby's freedom they once had. And such is the way of your world. But maybe that is the way the world must be when over 7.5 billion humans share your planet. Is it realistic to think that each and every one of the 7.5 billion people can retain their pure freedom and simply do as they choose when they want? Maybe not. Maybe there must be accepted ways that by their nature restrict freedom. Maybe that is the price you pay to live with so many brothers and sisters on your planet. So does that mean we have to give up our freedom to exist on our planet, you say? And that brings us to the teaching of today. What is freedom? Can you ever have freedom while living on the planet with so many rules and regulations? The answer is yes. You can have freedom, but the freedom we speak of is on the inside. It is an attitude, a feeling. It has nothing to do with the rules and regulations of the country you live in. It has nothing to do with following the social mores of your culture. No, the freedom we refer to is the inner freedom to be who you truly are, to be genuine, to be authentic, to feel the way you want to feel and to think the way you want to think. You can follow the rules of behavior set out in your shared space and still feel free. You see, freedom is a state of mind, a state of being. A person who is incarcerated in prison may have more freedom than someone living in the freest democracy on your planet. Physical freedom is not necessarily true freedom. Mental and emotional freedom is. And no one, nothing, can take away your mental and emotional freedom unless you let them. But unfortunately, many of you have chosen to give up that freedom. You have allowed others to tell you how to think, tell you how to feel. You have chosen to follow the crowd in a way that is not mandatory. The rules of law may be mandatory, but giving up your personal freedom is optional. The time has come, if you choose, to reclaim your personal freedom, to let go of all of the restrictions you have allowed to be placed on how you think and how you feel. It is time, if you choose, to open up to think more freely and to feel more freely. It is time to reclaim your personal freedom. Just like the baby you once were, you can cry when you want to. You can laugh when you want to. Just like the child you once were, you can think what you want to think. Feel free to be. For what you think and what you feel is your birthright. That freedom cannot be taken away from you by anyone. It is time to reclaim your personal freedom if you so choose. True freedom lives in your heart of hearts. That is where it was when you were first born into this human lifetime expression. That's why it is so easy for a baby to have true freedom, because he or she does not have a developed mind. As you matured and grew up, you were taught by others how to develop your brain, your mind. The more you allowed your mind to lead the way, the less freedom you seem to have. Often the mind can be very limiting, very restrictive. It does not have the expansiveness that the heart does. The mind often has rules, guidelines, limitations, and logic, whereas the heart simply is. The heart feels. No logic is required. How can you feel free if your mind is giving you all the reasons you can't do whatever you feel like doing? In order to find your freedom, you may consider allowing yourself to feel more and think less. On your planet, the greatest loss of freedom doesn't come from physical restraints, but instead from self-imposed mental restrictions and logical limitations. Let go of the self-imposed limitations and restrictions that are in your mind so you can truly enjoy your personal freedom. Freedom is your choice. The gift of free choice was given to you by the Source upon your incarnation into human form. Do not forsake that gift by giving away your personal freedom. Begin to realize that no matter how many restrictions and limitations your mind tells you there are, you can always feel free. You can choose to feel free no matter what is happening outside of you or in your mind. Move to the purity of your heart of hearts and feel the freedom you felt as the baby you once were. It's still there. You just have to quiet your obsessive mind and you will feel it. And so it is. We bring you this message from a place of love. Our love for you is unconditional and everlasting.